some noise. This is what we wanted.
It's going down right now. Seoul Dynasty versus the New York Excelsior.
This is New York spinning out of control. Seoul showing true resilience. No way. No way.
Unbelievable, this guy. Just the dregs of Seoul that are left.
New York has won this fight against all odds and will take control here.
These two teams are going to go all 12 rounds in the boxing ring, slugging it out, and we are in for a treat. Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena here in Los Angeles. Everybody, my name is Mitch Leslie. Matthew Morello over here, and we have the last game of the week. I know, do I need to introduce you anymore?
I know, you introduce us all the time.
They recognize you by the beard and bomber jacket.
It's a good refresher.
Yeah. So we're back here, one more game to go, and I am highly anticipating this game. Look,
oh, yeah.
We know the New York Excelsior have gone from strength to strength. They've been dominant all throughout the history of the Overwatch League, and this stage, it's no different, man.
It's just more of the same for New York, sitting at the top, undefeated. Best map differential. Seoul Dynasty, they're sitting at 11, 2-2. It's a big match in terms of their overall stage, right? You get to that 3-2 mark, you get a better map win percentage, you almost get into that top 8. NYXL can clinch
with a win here.
With a win here, a stage playoff berth. So it's a big match for New York too.
As you can see, it takes quite a lot to sort of get to be sure in or out of the playoffs. But look at this. I mean, NYXL have dominated this matchup front to back, left to right. And they're looking to repeat that here. Their form looks no less indomitable than in Season 1, our inaugural season. Seoul have pitched, up and down a little bit so far, Matt.
Yeah, this is kind of like a grudge match between these two teams, right? They have some history versus each other. You have the Jaehong versus Jonak thing going on, and I think, Fissure versus Mono is going to be a big matchup in that main tank role. And look, for Seoul, almost like, you don't want to say save their stage, but they need a win here against a team that they've never beaten before. It's going to be tough.
It is a big ask, of course. We talked about the story between Jonak and Jaehong. Jonak idolized Jaehong. We actually got a chance to sit down and get a few thoughts from the two of those players in the lead up to this match.
처음에는 이제 제가 오버워치를 처음 하면서 다른 대회를 나갔을 때 이제 제 경기를 보러 와줬었고
재영 형이랑 저의 사이는 옛날에는 제 우상 엄청 좋아하는 선수였는데 지금은 좀 많이 친한 형 동생 하는 거 보면은 그냥 반할 정도로 멋있었어요.
That is filthy, dude.
Oh, are you kidding me?
대회에서는 친한 형 그런 거 하나도 없고 그냥 죽여버리겠다는 마인드만 있는 것 같아요.
I'm only focused on killing him. Here's your head-to-head between these two players on Zenyatta, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, Jonak dominating in terms of the numbers between these two. A little bit more healing for Jaehong, but the damage that Jonak puts out, that's really like how he's used on this New York team, really as an offensive weapon.
Really adept at finding those first kills, and interestingly enough, Jaehong dies first more than twice as often as Jonak. Excellent at staying alive whilst putting out that damage. The more time you spend on the battlefield, the more lethal you can be. The story here is great. Jaehong was definitely one of the OGs, the original top flex support players. When we saw him play as Ana or Zenyatta, people feared him. He featured in the first couple iterations of the World Cup team for South Korea. And then Jonak started to make his way in. This unknown kid off the ladder, brought into the fold.
Yeah, then you throw some new players in the mix, right, for both sides. A Fleta, a player who kind of comes in last year to Seoul Dynasty. That's really like his best opportunity for a team. And then Nene New York this year. Two great Zarya players.
Absolutely, and of course, and their motto is ever upward. Let's welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, the NYXL. Leading the charge, Animo, of course, seeing much more play than he did in the inaugural season over Arc, Matt. And bring out the rear, I think, a man that doesn't always get enough love. We don't talk all that often about the tank players, now a little bit more, but Meko's been instrumental. We've even seen him flex a little bit out into that Sombra pick lately as well.
Yeah, I mean, you throw him on Sombra, you can still run the Rhine and the Zarya with Mono and Nene. This team, as great as Vancouver's looked early on, it's like I think we just kind of take their greatness a little bit for granted. Like they're just kind of barreling through people, and people just expect it. I think New York definitely, a candidate to potentially take stage 1.
And then, of course, their opponent's a team, no matter win or loss, they will always roar on. It's the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me. Pull up in a Rover,
who's this? Look at the charge. It's Miro. from the inaugural season, who really wrote the textbook on how to be a dominant Winston player. His Reinhardt was also fantastic. He's now an influencer, a streamer as well, still affiliated with the team. And a sign of respect to bring him out of the front as this new generation of Dynasty hits the stage.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a staple in the Overwatch scene forever. Him and Fleta trying to get the crowd high.
Oh, that headband is fire. Looking like Rocky out there with that flag. Great to see Miro's face here in the arena, but of course, here is your starting six for the Seoul Dynasty.
We talked a lot about the main tank matchup. Fisher comes over from the LA Gladiators. Tremendous main tank player. Michelle, I've been really impressed with. The Diva play, pretty solid. His Sombra's been really strong. They've been using that comp throughout a lot of their matches to turn the tide.
Yeah, Jexa, another player who was, really hyped up. His shot calling, they said, was fantastic. Now, the way he's melded into the Seoul Dynasty, it's, a shared effort between both himself and Fisher. So the focus of this team has changed hugely since our inaugural season. And there's the man himself, Jae Hong. He's been around for a heck of a long time. I remember seeing one of his first tournaments was the APAC Premier in 2016, a tournament played in China where Jae Hong really came to the fore. His name in-game was actually written in Korean, so I had to have it translated to actually learn what his name was. But I'd seen enough from him at that tournament to know he'd be a big deal.
I really love these matches, and I think you learn a lot from watching a Seoul Dynasty in this type of scenario. Back against the wall, stage playoff potentially on the line, versus arguably the best team in the league. How do they come out and perform? Can they get to that next level and take a game off of New York?
Seoul Dynasty have never managed to tackle their opponents in the NYXL, have never managed to deal with them. So it'll be a day where they can start to leverage some of that new talent, Matt, to try and challenge his roster. But NYXL is evergreen, unchanging. Here's your Toyota map pool, of course. And I really want to see where we go here, especially on that third map, it will be Volskaya, so that's something I'm curious to see. Ilios is where it all begins, though. NYXL, all they're thinking about right now, Matt, they're thinking about that Stage 1 playoffs.
Yeah, no, New York, they can run some other compositions outside of the 3-3. Nene and Libero, very flexible players. And Libero, last year we talked about him being the most flexible.
We saw
player
more of his flexibility last year.
Not as much now. He's just kind of like on Brigitte duty. But you think if there was a point where they needed to flex over to some stuff, you maybe bring out his bar or something like that on this point. But it'll be Reinhardt 3-3 versus Reinhardt 3-3 to kick things off.
Now, Fleta, of course, moving over to the Zarya role for the Seoul Dynasty. Nene's just been pretty much the best Zarya player statistically in the league so far.
Top 5 in like almost every category.
We know Fleta is a dynamic damage dealer player normally. He's a bit less aggressive. He's not a super passive, not a super aggressive player. Likes to play a little bit safer and set up his teammates for success. And that may mean in this case, someone like Fisher, who's definitely the focus of this team. So I'll already take up positioning on the point. You see, Mano's taken too much damage to actually want to push up aggressively yet. Jonak, again, looking for that first pick. That's what New York always have him working on early in these fights.
And I mean, you see, he's already getting very close to that Transcendence. As they're just opening up lanes here for him to put down damage. You lose Libero at the beginning, though. That is going to be all of your burst healing gone. As a Transcendence used here from Seoul Dynasty. So New York backs out. The first fight win for Seoul, they're going to gain some percentage here. But you build up grab, you build up Transcendence. You got some big ultimates here for New York. The Transcendence in the rally used by Seoul Dynasty in that fight.
You may have heard Mano attempt to go for an Earth Shatter. It was cancelled. Stopped by Munchkin in the Shield Bash. Bear in mind as well, Brigitte and Reinhardt can knock each other over now. It's the interaction between Charge and Shield Bash, which is honestly like a situation that Brigitte is happy enough to do to knock down enemy Ryan and make him vulnerable.
I think of any time you can use Shatter, or I mean, in that case, they didn't really get the Shatter off. Is Fleta here going to use the grab? You trade Shatter for like 1 or 2 ultimates. That's a good swap.
Samba is self-destruct here, thrown in the middle. 2 from that one. Seoul already so dispersed over the scene of the fight that even if Fisher was still standing, you couldn't protect his team with the shield. A very late inclusion into the fight was that ultimate from Meko, and it pays off in a big way. NYXL. 70% for Seoul on the point here, and they stalled out nicely. New York finally get a touch.
I think New York probably the best in the league at setting up those combos. Series that we casted New York versus the Valiant. Meko ends up with 20+ self-destruct kills during that. You need the Reinhardt of Mono. You need Animo on Lucio to be able to set up those plays.
That's right. Even Brigitte, although she can't stun an enemy Reinhardt through his shield, she can still stun him if she comes in from a different angle. Yeah, she does work. She poops out the way with that whip shot as well.
All right, Hero.
NYXL will set up here with Sound Barrier. Jexa a long way away from his. It'll have to be the Transcendence that the Seoul Dynasty lean into in terms of healing ultimates. Munchkin's Rally will also be an inclusion. Fisher just barrels himself forward. Hard to say at this point exactly what target he's looking for, but he gets shattered straight away. This time Mano is not interrupted. This forces the Transcendence now into the fight. Fisher's Earth Shatter is blocked, but Nene, still laying prone on the ground, is found, and Mano lays it down. Now the NYXL in complete disarray. Seoul can move back to the point and set themselves up to be one fight from victory here on Lighthouse.
And it's such a big kill of Nene on the ground. He's fully charged up. He has grabbed. If he's able to get up from that, you know there's no support ult on the other side. And they still have that advantage going into this next fight, but you'd like to be building the percentage in your favor. So they do a nice job of targeting. They're able to take him out. This grab's got to be good from Fleta. We got to see the follow through.
Seoul don't have too much to stop the damage into this Graviton Surge. I think NYXL know that. They waste no time in starting off this fight. Still, Seoul get themselves within spitting distance of a victory in this round. So they'll be happy to not use ultimates in this fight to try and generate them for one more shot to win this round. However, the NYXL, at the same time, Matt, they only really used the Graviton in that fight. They didn't actually use a heck of a lot of other abilities. So they are also stocked up.
What Seoul wants to do in this next fight is, be fast, aggressive, try and force maybe like the rally, a shatter, best case Transcendence. You lose the fight quick, you come back, you're coming close to the end of the game, but you still have a good chance to win it. See, I don't know if I agree with the slow play here. Maybe you're just trying to build some charge up here for Fleta. You don't want to send him in.
They don't have time to waste.
They don't have a ton of, no.
75% are ticking for NYXL.
But the way the fights go for so long, 80%, by the time this fight ends, we're going to be sitting at the end of the game.
They might have been waiting for Jaehong's Transcendence. He just got it, but Nene is able to take Fleta down despite the healing over on the point. And so they spend so much time in the lead up to that fight that they may not have a chance to touch the point, Matt. They may just be flat out of time.
See if they can get a touch here.
They have 3 seconds to get there. Jexa touches the point, forced off of it immediately. That's enough to trigger the overtime. So Seoul can set up. Sound barrier is there for Jexa. He's lucky not to die when he was trying to stall. Riding a very thin line though. Here's the Graviton Surge, Transcendence, and a self-destruct thrown in there, but no one was really there to stop Mane from shielding his team from the blow. Fisher tries to go in with that Earth Shatter. He doesn't get too much forward though, when Jexa's pinned up against the wall by Mano. Fisher looking low. Sound barrier here for the NYXL, and they've got all the extra health they need to play a bit more recklessly, and they can. Seoul were in control for so much of that round, Matt, but the numbers worked against them as they were forced away.
And I think you could have went aggressive before Jaehong got the Transcendence. You probably would have built up the Transcendence during the fight, and then you could have died quickly and then came back and reset, but they gave themselves a position where they go and they start the fight with about 83% to New York, and there's no opportunity for a good fight after that.
Tell me this, how do you win a fight in which you have less ultimates than the enemy team, in general?
It's tough. The other team's got to they got to beef a little bit.
They have to mess up
some things up. Yeah, I mean, it's hard with how great teams are at setting up these grab and self-destruct combos. It's very difficult to win the fights without ults. That's why I think it's almost better to get those quick fights, try and force an ult or two out, build some of your own. And then at least when you come back and it's they're at 99 and you're trying to stall it out, at least you have some ultimates to work with. I mean, at that point, they have nothing to really swing the fight in their favor.
See the orbs flying across the screen as both Zenyatta's vying for dominance, trying to find that first kill to set things in motion for their team. Jonak currently has the highest amount of hero damage per 10 minutes of Zenyatta's in the league. It's no small feat. Munchkin the first to go down. You'll see it was with the assistance of Jonak's Discord orb.
And as this series goes on, just pay attention to the positioning and how NYXL plays around Mano. You watch so much of his play. If you're a main tank player out there, you want to throw his POV on. He's never out of position.
Never dies.
He never dies.
He has the least deaths of all Reinhardts in the league.
He knows when to be aggressive and when to just go back. Just such a rock solid player.
And he also has the lowest amount of damage taken per 10 minutes of Reinhardt players. I don't know how he avoids his damage, because it's one thing to take damage and get healed, but he just doesn't take it. He's just a very very cunning player.
It's like his Winston. He's always like flanking, like really sneaky. It's very difficult to do that on Ryan. Somehow still able to do it, I guess.
Well, here's the Graviton surge, so Mana's going to swing into that one, charging out Jexa here. He'll still get the kill. Maybe he was trying to get the Zenyatta away, remove the Transcendence healing, but he still puts his team in a player advantage, so he's happy with that. He didn't have to spend an ultimate to do so. Shatter, he kind of gets knocked away as he tried to lay that one down. Munchkin making it very hard for Reinhardt to set up in the way he'd like to. But late in the fight, Jonak strikes for 2, and NYXL retain control and ultimates, and they're at 55% and counting.
I mean, when he pins Jexa, they don't have the sound barrier to potentially use right after that. You didn't get the Zen. If you would have gotten the Zen, you would have seen a lot more kills being picked up in the Grav. But still, at least getting one. So you block Fisher's Shatter here, you start forcing some other ultimates out of Seoul. You're looking like another point win for New York. There's the block.
Oh, Fisher trying to go for that one. Mano did go quite low trying to avoid that one. But look at he's being healed up by the rest of his team. And the Transcendence now to make it even more durable. Selton's trying to throw it in over the top, right into the back. They didn't need it to get the kills, apparently. Ever upward for NYXL. And they are one team fight away, Matt, from taking map 1.
And Seoul used everything they had there. Sound barrier still available here for New York. Fisher will go over to Wrecking Ball here, just trying to get a touch. And that's the type of game it's been, man.
Oh, he's over the edge. That's the hamster dance, apparently. That was Animo sending him packing. It wasn't intentional. But NYXL just steamroll out on map 1. Ilios seems like it always had their name on it. Gonna be a tough one for Seoul here to gain some momentum in this series. The NYXL are the immovable object. Such a defensive team, and they're ready to go all 5 rounds. We'll see you after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Another rung in the ladder firmly in New York's clasp as they take map 1, and this man just straight up didn't die, Matt.
Just an absolute beast in map number 1. 16 eliminations, 5 final blows, 0 deaths. You take a look at how those numbers compare with Jaehong in map number 1, and not not great for Jayhong there. I know his team gets blown out, so it's kind of difficult to even really take a lot out of that.
Yeah, look, he's spending a lot less time alive than Jonak as well. So.
which is usually bad.
Not ideal. I mean, this is definitely the master going up against the student. Perhaps the script has been flipped on that one.
And I also think Jonak's probably like, we've been talking about how good some of these other flex supports in the league. Like there's a little like a little chip on his shoulder there. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Matt.
Yeah.
Jonak might not even be in the top 8 of flex supports in the. So Jayhong, sorry.
Oh,
Might not be.
I was like,
no,
I thought you meant
that look was fine. No.
Yeah, when you said
Jayhong
that,
might
I
not
was
be in
like-
the top 8.
I was like, you know, save that hot take for a watch point.
No, yeah, I don't think that
New York
Soul's
fans,
bad.
we wouldn't be able to put you up.
Answer the question, Matt.
Dude.
Wow, you just spent 20 minutes
What?
going on about
What was
something
the
I said
question?
wrong. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, well, with the Jayhong comment, I agree. Yeah, I would.
We got there in the end. So Farah here in this setup, so I want to go for a damage dealer heavy composition, or at least 2 of them. It's better than none. Although they have a second support here. Sometimes we just see the solo Mercy brought in. Fisher straight to the high ground, and 8. Oh dear.
It's rare you see the Zarya drop that quick. So a lot of damage going down on Nene is NYA. They'll back up. Really good early pickoff is the Wrecking Ball can be really strong in like these solo tank competitions, but you're running it with the Diva as well. New York, it looked like they were going to completely give up, but
Munchkin caught.
yeah, they actually hack Mono as he dives in, so they were able to pick that kill up as well.
Tell you what, that Lucio speed boost from Animo helped them very quickly overwhelm and overrun. And they're just going to try and play safe on the point here, NYXL. They know they're lacking in numbers somewhat. Flatter might not give them the chance, so Barrage only to be shut down by Jonak. But Seoul still haven't captured the point, and now they're kind of struggling.
How many times have we seen this from New York, where everything looks like they're falling apart, and they somehow come out and they end up flipping the point back? Is you know, Mono back in the action now? They still got Jonak there, still alive.
He won't stick it. Oh! Not quite. Give the people what they want. Nene knows how to entertain. But as the smoke clears, the Seoul Dynasty have to go back for another attack. Granted, they've got most of the point captured already. They get sort of 2/3 of their capture progress locked in. But here's a Transcendence, and Jayhong just goes down to Nene. This Tracer from the NYXL, which we thought was just a stall, is actually accruing some value. Jayhong's brought back to life. That goes a little bit low now, and the Transcendence from the resurrected Jayhong probably helps a lot. But Nene, he's still out there doing work. Just punches Munchkin in the jaw.
But the trance is a little bit late from Jayhong. You don't say it, you end up using the Valkyrie.
You thought.
Seoul probably, I mean, let's see what they do, but you imagine you invest that heavy and you don't win, you switch off of it. That's exactly what they do.
They are dejected. What do you want from them? It didn't work. They used all their ults, guys.
You guys want to watch them do that again?
In this economy, really? Back to the old
They were
fight.
very close, though, to be fair. They do have the Reinhardt version of the 3-3. They can kind of push in towards that high ground. Maybe you catch Mono out of position. The bad part is Mono has the Primal Rage to use here.
And he mad. Oh, he mad. Drop in. Animo picked off. Jayhong getting that first pick here. And you see NYXL, they're not completely backing away. They know they can't. If they leave the point, it'll be very quickly that Seoul are able to take it. Seoul get the first pick.
And then they back out.
And they're not doing anything.
And they get it onto the Lucio, so it's not like they can go anywhere.
Self-destruct thrown in here. Seoul are split. Yeah, they avoid it, but they get taken down. How is it that Jayhong finds a pick on Animo and Seoul still sit there?
Maybe they were waiting for Jayhong to get Transcendence. Maybe they thought New York was going to get aggressive
Right, it was 30% away.
off of the back of the rally, but
They just weren't confident with one pick. They know NYXL still fights as well with 5 players as they do 6, I guess.
when you get the Lucio and there's no chance to disengage, you have to go. Especially with Reinhardt, he's has so much to stake.
I have so many questions about that particular play. Here's the Transcendence now. Munchkin splattered and Jayhong sitting on the ground. He used his Transcendence as well, but he got knocked off. Everything is going wrong right now for Seoul, man. It's like a series of unfortunate events.
So, you know, they probably had their best opportunity outside of that long, prolonged fight with the DPS comp was right there when they take out Animo. And see, they're going to get a touch here. It'll be Michelle who gets the touch.
Self-destruct, wishful thinking, bubble thrown over the top of it, the cone of silence. The Mane puts over that ultimate, and the rest of Seoul are about to be shut the heck up as well. Fisher down, Fletter's grab got eaten. Nothing's going right for this team right now. This is ridiculous! Not even putting a scratch on New York. Even with a player down, they won't challenge New York face to face. Even without a Lucio, without a disengaged tool, without a healer, they still sit and wait.
That was weird. Maybe the only thing that kind of explains this is like, okay, maybe they know that they're using Rally right. They have the Transcendence. Like, you get aggressive behind that. That's New York to get scary of. But they use the Rally and they just sit there. And then Seoul just sits on the other side. They don't want to fight it. They probably still have to sustain even with the Reinhardt comp to get through that. In the speed advantage there, it's tough.
Fair dinkum out. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. That's brutal. Seoul, though, I mean, the spirits better be kept high because they've got a few more maps still to play, and they still, of course, they have a chance here. Still a chance now, but they need to show up on defense, and they need to be absolutely solid.
And this is where you need to be scared if you're Seoul. You come out on the Reinhardt version of the 3-3. The Libero could easily go to Pharah and just start wrecking you, right? I mean, he's sick on that hero. So.
Oh, yeah. Just
What
wrecking
do you do? They get so close, dude. No, 92% to taking point A, and it's just, it's like New York. They stall those fights out for so long, and they make it so scrappy. But like, they're so decisive at those moments. They know exactly how they want to play those certain situations, and they always seem to come out on top of them.
Whereas I think Seoul are kind of feeling pretty uncertain of themselves right now, Matt. They're sitting and waiting. I mean, that first point attack, which went so well. Fisher opened up with a kill on the Zarya. Yeah. He killed Nene. That is the one hero you lose, and it gives you the lowest chances of being able to come back from that in a fight, and still Seoul.
The Seoul has so much talent. I think it's just they got to put it together.
I mean, look at the new addition to the roster has just made it look so much better on paper. But NYXL, they just set that paper on fire, throw it in the trash can. We'll see what Seoul can do on defense now. They have to hold out for all of this 3 minutes and 28 seconds. And NYXL, we know they like to slow roll it. Let's see how they draw it up. Jexo on the high ground, sets himself up to get the boot. He does put Mano onto the low ground, which is excellent. Great opening for Seoul.
New York's waiting for their speed boost to engage in that situation.
Interesting, Mano.
Mono actually may have went forward because they got Nene weak, and to just try and like he kind of charges like directly in front of Nene.
Let Nene keep the charge.
Let Nene keep the charge and then back out.
There's actually a reason to go in and feed if you can keep your teammate alive. I feel that.
Well, I mean, everybody kind of naturally is going to just switch targets to the one like closest to them as opposed to just keep trying to get that Zarya around the corner.
New York, change of tact here. They would like to force Seoul to... Wow, Michelle just got lasered down. Half his health missing. They want to force Seoul to engage here. They're going to put Seoul's coordination to the ultimate test. Earthshatter from Fisher, he's done well. He's not Mano over yet. No, he doesn't get away with his life. Munchkin was the first to go down in that fight, but Seoul put the pieces together quite nicely.
2 pushes for New York. 2 defensive stands for Seoul. As Jonak still here on the corner here. Still just firing orbs up, just trying to get closer towards that Transcendence. They have to have a good idea that Jaehong has his. So now you've gone to the high ground, you've gone to the low ground. Looks like you're going to go low ground again. You don't want to just get booped off and have fights end that way. You at least want to try and force some action on the point.
New York again want to force Seoul to move. Move they do. Fletter steps up to the point. Jaehong immediately with that Transcendence. Libero is looking worse for wear. That's a self-destruct thrown up. Mano tries to get the umbrella out. It works. Mary Poppins will be proud. Meko desuited and removed now, and it's only 5 players left for NYXL, but they have the rally, and Mano has a shatter. Keep an eye out for that one. So does Fisher. Fisher lays it down. He connects. Mano knocked to the ground. No chance to use that shatter, and the sound barrier for New York now probably won't have much of an impact. Fisher just gonna step back. He knows he's low, but the rest of his team is now weathering the load for him. Jonak punched in the teeth by Michelle. And Seoul hold off yet again. Matt.
It's realistic. I mean, Seoul can definitely do this. You're going to have Fleta probably with another grab. You're going to have 2 of your big support ults back online. New York in this fight, they try and get Jonak to trance, whether it's going in really aggressive, opening up some lanes for him to shoot, and then coming back with another fight. They're gonna go for the high ground again. Maybe use the grab here to get out some of these support ults. We'll see how they play it as Michelle gets very low. There's the sound barriers. They have to use the barrier. Oh, and they don't even keep it alive.
Jackson was knocked into the air when he did that. He actually didn't land as quickly as he would have liked, and you have to touch the ground to use sound barrier. It wasn't quick enough to keep Michelle's back in the game, and J-Hong is down. South the strike from Meko does the job. And now New York have the players. They don't have a lot of time, but they just move on to the point now. Here's that transition out to the side. Fleta has a graviton. He's waiting for a chance to come in and use that. Nene probably knows this. He's trying to keep him away. Fleta's just going to walk in and try and let this ultimate go and save the day for his team. Michelle taken down again. That's the graviton. It only catches Nene inside of it, though. Fleta does find that kill, but Fisher's looking pretty low on the transcendence. It's well timed for Jonah. New York will push forward now. Fisher over the top again. Alley-oop, he drops down. But he's split for the rest of his teammates. NYXL are trying to chase, but they need to touch the point. 76.7%. Jonah down. This could be Seoul. A big first map for them. They need this one in the series so badly. With the overtime ticking down, Mano was the last one on the point. There'll be Nene to try and touch on the Tracer. But it's just going to be him. And Seoul have done it. They hold off on defense. And they equalize the series with an even better hold than NYXL put together. That is true grit and determination. And they're out of their seats right now.
What a huge map win there for Seoul. They lose that, you feel like they kind of lose track of this whole series. It would have gone away from them, but man, what a defensive stand there from Seoul Dynasty.
There's still some fight in the Tigers yet. 1-1 at half. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh boy, we got a good one to close out the week. After the NYXL took map 1, the Dynasty clutched up big time on Nubani to even things up at 1-1 at the break. What's up, everybody? Malik here with Soul and Brand. It's is Dynasty Day here at the Blizzard Arena, so you know I had to rock one of these free Dynasty headbands. How's it look, guys? Looks pretty good?
Oh, it's
Pretty good?
perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yo, the first half, so hyped, guys. Are you guys as hyped as I am about that first half?
I
I can't
am.
believe what we've just witnessed. That was just unbelievable. Like, from top to bottom, that was just unreasonable from Seoul Dynasty to pull that back. Like,
The thing is, we were all excited coming into this. However, when we listened to Wolf yesterday on Watchpoint, he did say that, you know, I'm excited for it, but just because of the storyline. I do think it's going to be a one-sided affair for New York.
Yeah.
No, excuse me.
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Although I will say Nene clutching it with Tracer on that one push was crazy.
It was.
But let's get into some illustration. You got something for us, Bryn?
yeah, I do. This is a tasty little clip here, and it's really going to demonstrate actually why are New York Excelsior so good at disengaging. So, in particular, I want you to pay attention to the fact that you got Fleto, the Graviton Surge. That is going to be their win condition. New York Excelsior, they've recognized this, and they are playing around it as a result. So when Seoul drop to the low ground, their plan is going to be moving up into the backline of New York Excelsior. New York, they know this. They're going to be splitting up. They're going to be forking out because they know that Fleto wants to try and trap as many people as possible into this Graviton Surge. So New York reading ahead, this is something they do so well in these team fights, is actually thinking ahead on how they're going to be winning these team fights and what the win conditions are for the enemy team. So you can see as this kicks off, they let them push forward and they split off. Earth Shatter comes down from Mano. This is sick right here. Pay attention to Nene. Uses his personal bubble to block the healing from Ryu Jae-hong. Gets in between the fact that Fleto's on the floor, and they block the healing, because if you didn't know, Zarya bubbles can block healing in between targets. So they get the kill onto Fleto, they secure the fight, they knew they had to bring him down. Just all around, just insanity from New York Excelsior to even recognize how they were going to be winning that fight. So that's just, honestly, just sick.
That
It's
is
just
so
sick.
sick.
What else can you say?
They see the game at a whole different speed than we do.
They really do.
It's wild. It's wild. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this crazy Jae-hong Jonak face-off, pretty essentially. It's a face-off of the teacher and the students. And so far, students looking really good.
He certainly is. He, in fact, did not die a single time on the first map. The only time when he actually started dying is when they started losing the team fights towards the end of the second round on the second map. Up until that point, Jonak was untouched. Animo also staying alive for a very, very long time. But if we're looking at the statistics, actually Ryu Jae-hong and Jonak did stack up pretty okay against each other. The only big discrepancy I do see there is when we're looking at their ultimates. So yeah, right, there we go.
There it is.
That's so choreographed.
The big thing for me is the deaths as well. I've
Yeah.
got to point this out and highlight it because, again, Ryu Jae-hong dying 3 times.
At
I
the
think
very end.
At the
of
very end.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
literally the
that's-
final round where he got the majority of his deaths. He didn't die at all in map 1. He didn't die at all for the first half, pretty much, of the Numbani game. Just
But
absolutely
this
absurd.
is what I'm looking at.
Yes.
The holding time for the ultimate. Jonak held it for 1 minute and 19. On the other side, no, other way around, Jae-hong holds it for 1 minute. We have a 4 minute 30 for Jonak. He's basically just not using his ult. That's just how the team plays around him. And that's actually insane. And if we're looking at those statistics, then it very much looks as if Ryu Jae-hong just has to pop that ult whenever they're engaging.
The reigning MVP, definitely the most patient Zenyatta that we've seen in the league so far. So guys, we're going into the second half. It's kind of hard. It's a bit of a toss-up because both of the teams are playing so well. Who are you guys picking, man, going in? You
I
changing your
genuinely
pick?
have no idea what to expect from this series. Because I was assuming it was going to be a one-sided affair for New York.
Yeah.
Seoul come out with that madness on Numbani. I've never seen anything like that before, but that is the nature of Numbani at the end of the day. You know, it is that kind of map for it. So genuinely, don't put me on a spot like this. I'm going to stick to my guns with New York, but it could go either way.
Zoe, want to change?
No, I think I'm gonna play it safe and go with New York.
All right, I know there's not a lot of NYXL fans here in the audience, but who's rooting for the Seoul Dynasty here on Dynasty Day? Oh yeah, lots of Dynasty fans in the building. I love it. Well, we'll see if NYXL can keep that undefeated streak going right after the breaks. Stay tuned.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
There's a lot of veterans on the stage right now in this last game of the weekend. They are trading blows, Matt. I tell you what, great to see that Jaehong Jonak's story continue to play out. These two teams, if you're wondering, you're just tuning in, New York and Seoul, have had a rivalry that goes back to even before the Overwatch League was inaugurated. These guys have been battling it out over multiple stages, over multiple years, and we always love seeing them go head-to-head in this arena.
And we've had wild series today, but I think no game was wilder than that game two there on Numbani. The way that it ended, I look at New York, you know, they make together this hold on defense, and you just think, oh, there's no way they're going to mess this up as we go over to the offensive side. But Seoul just with a tremendous hold to steal Numbani. And now it's anybody's game, right? You kind of did your job. You lost map number 1 pretty bad. A lot of teams probably would have just folded, lose map number 2. Seoul fights back. Maybe we see some more wrecking ball stuff here on Volskaya.
I mean, it's going to take me a while to forget Fleta walking up and solo grabbing Nene, finishing him off, and the rest of the Dynasty just holding the point. That's you love to see that kind of stuff. This map, though, I think it's a little bit different. Likely that we see, it'd be interesting we see Fisher's Winston here. Mostly has been preferring the Reinhardt play thus far. On the attack, maybe not too much of a surprise to really see the Reinhardt picked here. NYXL, they're playing Winston in a triple tank, triple support setup here. So that's the major point of difference.
They're playing it on defense because Seoul's already showed willingness to come out with some damage dealer heavy composition. So you expect if they were willing to do it on Numbani, they probably would do it again here on Volskaya.
Fisher and Mano to me are like fire and ice. Fisher, passionate, aggressive, outspoken. Mano is just cool, calm, collected, quiet achiever.
He's too busy going out with Zed.
Yeah, he's just hanging out in Vegas. Yeah, anytime you want us to hang out, Anton, let us know, man.
Yeah, we're around.
I'll get my nicest floral shirt for you, bro. Trust me, it'll be at a hoot.
He'll wear the nice purple one.
Yeah, I got other ones. Don't worry, I got plenty. Mane drops in, takes a fair bit of damage early on here, and it's a trade. So both main takes it down. This probably hurts Seoul a little bit more than NYXL. Fisher's a big portion of their damage here. The fight starts to break down. Meko looks like he's isolated, but he's out there intentionally. He was trying to shut down Jaehong on the docks.
Jaehong was the one that was really far away from the team, and they tried to peel for him, and they did a nice job. Now, Michelle went there, but there was only so long. You would have just given up some of the remaining players of Seoul, so they have to back out. They lose that first fight. They do have the opportunity to come back pretty quick, though, as do have the respawn advantage.
They spawned pretty close to this first fight. It's a bit tough for the defenders. They probably have to walk about twice as far to get back to the fight. Maybe not quite twice as far.
It feels like it.
Oh, especially without Lucio. Out there playing Diamond, no one playing Lucio. You're just like trudging along like you're trying to get into Mordor. It's like, man, I need some Lembas bread or something, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, Transcendence. Jonak realized he was isolated here, so he's kind of forced to go for that one. Now it's up to NYXL to punish Seoul for this very deep extension into the territory. But Manu, he's burst down low. Gets himself to make a health pack. And so NYXL have a chance to set up here once more, but they're going to be isolated. They're forced to use these ultimates just to stay in the fight, but this one might be nice. Self-destruct. There is nothing available for NYXL to force Fisher to eat that self-destruct. They don't have a Reinhardt to charge him out of the way, just the Winston. Libero goes down, but NYXL have done, all things considered, done well to hold on, and Seoul are showcasing their typical tenacity here.
They tried to use Mano's Winston bubble to like break line of sight with maybe the Transcendence, get a kill or two, but
they're waiting for Munchkin to come back. They're down to, both teams are down to 5 right now, so Munchkin's coming back through. See him there, top of your screen, and now they have 6 on the point.
Primal Rage again here for Mano. You've used Sound Barrier here for Seoul Dynasty. You're already down 1 player. Transcendence is out for New York. But New York knows they have the advantage. Like, Seoul keeps losing players, and then they're just trapped by the Mega Health Pack.
Oh, Mano flexing more than Johnny Bravo! Over the edge!
There they go.
Oh, dear. Just knocking him.
Fisher lives.
Oh, no. You ain't living that, fam. Not a chance.
You ain't living that, fam.
Shell deseated, and NYXL somehow retain control. Seoul unable to take any catch-up progress on the point so far. They got 1 minute left. 1 minute. They have some impactful ultimates coming up.
This reminds you of like how Numbani started.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, a little bit closer for Seoul to take the point, but still, we're gonna struggles on point 1. Fleta with a grab coming up. When they play the Winston comp here on defense, you don't have to stay grouped up. A lot more mobility than playing like around the static Reinhardt. So we'll see how they try and use the grab. We've seen teams in the past just try and like grab the Winston, burn him down real quick. Wouldn't be the
YXL.
ideal use here. Look at how spread out they are.
New York are hoping for this as well. They
Yeah.
want Seoul to split more. Mano's waiting for a bit more of their Seoul players to drop down. He realizes they're not going to, so he has to come up and challenge. This is quite a dangerous place to be, is Winston. You see Mano doesn't spend much time face taking this damage. And around the corner is the Graviton Surge. That's Transcendence from Jae-Hong. Michelle drops that self-destruct in. Meko has this boost out of the way quickly to avoid being damaged by it. And Mano's still alive. That's a Transcendence. Mano drops in over the top. Libero did go down. Seoul have a player advantage right now, but Nene has charged up. And there's no time left. Seoul need to get back to the point. Michelle was there, but Meko chased him off! Come on! Really?
They did it. Well, they didn't do it, but...
That is a Charlie Niner. I repeat, a Charlie
I
Niner.
don't... we'll have to... I feel like it's the NFL where I'm going to go to the video booth and take a look, but I think he may have gotten booped. Like, Michelle was coming around the corner, and I don't know. I'm trying to save him right now.
Seoul has given us some 10 out of 10 Charlie
that
Niners
is
in
so
that fight.
tough.
Hey,
They played that fight well, though. You know, they were trading the ultimates, they had an advantage, and then it just didn't happen. So here we go. Now we can get the definitive proof here.
Fisher tries to shatter. It's nothing particular.
Yeah, a little bit, but he just kind of walked away. Yeah.
I understand that Seoul were hoping to sort of follow up on Fisher's shatter. There was nothing to really follow up on there as well. So if you're Seoul, you've got to be pretty despondent right now. This puts you in a dangerous position again. It's similar to what we saw in Mbani, folks. Seoul have to full hold this point, essentially. I don't believe that they were able to get any capture progress on that attack. So that puts them in an incredibly... look at it, 0%. So they're very compromised.
And they would be doing something that they didn't even expect to do in the previous map. I know our insider Danny caught up with Seoul during the halftime, and they were kind of surprised themselves that they were able to take Nambani. So, you know, maybe they can gain some confidence, you know, after Nambani and take this one. But man, that was tough to watch.
I mean, you're heated now. You're Fisher. You're out there. You're heated. You're talking 100 miles an hour into that mic. You're telling your team to shape up. Oh dear. NYXL, all they need, I think, is 1/3 of that capture progress to win the match.
Positives for Seoul is you've seen them like go toe-to-toe with New York into some of these fights. And it's not like they're just, the fights are really one-sided. Like they're back and forth, you know, the ultimate economy is pretty good.
You are reaching so much, you can almost get the top covered, man.
Not able to...
You can always get the coffee out of that top
I need my big box to get to the top cover. Let's be real, but no, I think Seoul's look quite good in this series. I don't think it's been one where New York's just kind of look. We've seen New York just cakewalk through some series. It hasn't exactly been that.
I agree, and Nambani was a good example of that. New York, some of their weaknesses definitely exposed, and a lot of teams are looking on. Especially a lot of teams looking straight down the barrel.
A lot of space
NYXL.
given up here.
Okay, Fisher steps forward. Jae-Hong, you see, he's trying to find a spot where he can stay safe while still be involved in this fight.
Look at the high ground, Nene.
Mano getting hammered. Nene's in a good spot, but he's going to do more the longer the fight goes on. With Mano already going down, New York just have to get out.
But I think you give him that high ground again, and New York figures out a way to play around that, and they end up taking that one tip. You can't let him sit on top of the hut with players down on the point and just start, you know, lobbing the alternate fires and just beaming down Fisher. You got to have some kind of contest.
I can see the player cameras from here. It's Jexer and Fisher are talking a lot. There's a lot of back and forth between those two.
I mean, that's two reasons why they were brought into the roster, right? And a lot of people were pretty high on this team is two really strong callers in the main tank and support role.
Fisher's shield is low. He'll have to drop it or get aggressive if NYXL want to push this. So NYXL give him a reprieve. 2 minutes 23. So NYXL still need to get 33% of that point captured. So they can't just lollygag around and wait. So that's not really the plan for them either. And they all Graviton Surge, immediate Transcendence thrown into this one. Surely Nene's going to want to use this one in a moment. It's just come up for him. Both Zayas have it. See that? It's almost baiting that one out.
High ground again.
I mean, you got to be happy, right? You get Jae-Hong's Transcendence. Dronak uses his. You trade them out, but you still have that grapple layer in the fight.
They don't want to go for the high ground here. They're going to just barrel it out on the point.
A lot of things just happen, but there's a self-destruct thrown into the back. That's the Graviton Surge by NYXL on the corner. Munchkin is felled. It's going to be a star barrier now for Seoul to try and keep them in this fight. Fisher's forced to hide behind the pipes here as the Graviton comes in, and it's good. Mano is down. Libero and Animo are missing. Self-destruct. Meko doesn't get anything. Frustration surely building for him, but he gets back in the mech and chases down Michelle. He is Disudo. This is getting dangerous for Seoul now. They're running out of people on this point. Michelle and Jae-Hong are missing. That's it. Seoul have been repelled, pushed back, and New York take map number 3. Honestly, for a series that's gone past this quickly, you wouldn't realize how close it has been. Back and forth again, these teams are slugging it out. Both looking pretty bruised and battered. But we still got one more map at least to come. You better not be going anywhere, you'd be crazy too.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
This man is not happy. Fisher leading the charge, both physically and non-physically for the Dynasty. Cannot be pleased with this turn of events after Volskaya, man.
I love it though. You know, Fisher is a player who, in his role, probably not even in his role, he believes he's the best player in the league, and he holds his team to an extremely high standard, which I think is something out after Seoul, they just kind of, it seemed like last year they were just okay, just doing what they were doing, right? Like after a while, like, you just kind of get comfortable losing, and I think he's somebody who's going to definitely, ruffle that team up, ruffle some feathers and try and get them going in the right direction. Like, regardless of what he needs to do, he's going to make it happen. And I think that's what you can be excited about if you're a Seoul Dynasty fan, with him on the roster moving forward.
You know this team is not going to be satisfied with anything less than the W here, or in any other match, as it were.
And he doesn't want to just win. He wants to win big. It's not about, getting those 3-1s in, the stages and moving on through. It is about winning it all for Fisher.
Well, killing Animo might help. He's 1 death per map. That's 0.5 per side. Oh, Medic. Burst down very quick. Seoul just going to be standing at the front door this time. That delivery guy really wants his tip in YXL. Best be coughing up. Fisher already up to 60% on that ult%. So swinging into this choke, which is what Reinhardt loves to do, of course, especially if he's given bubbles by his Zarya. Go ham. Talk about Fisher wanting to win big. He definitely wants to make a statement here and try and block some of this momentum that NYXL has been gradually generating.
So obviously you would think Reinhardt as the ultimate protector in terms of tanks, but in this meta he's kind of like a second damage dealer in a way. Zarya #1, Reinhardt right behind hers. You need your Reinhardt to play aggressive. Their shield management has to be on point, right? Can't keep the shield down all the time. So New York, they get the cart to the underpass. Seems like they're trying to bait it. Oh, Seoul actually fell for that. So they baited around that they were going to go to the high ground. Seoul actually started to rotate over there. They're a little bit slow to get back towards the cart.
This is ugly. They're out of position in a big way. Fisher, oh dear, Animo runs over him and Jonak just consistently dealing damage. That one had Fletter's name on it. It also left an imprint on his noggin. Don't you love that though? The things you can do with Lucio's speed boost, baiting that positional, the rotation, and NYXL make.
And I think what hurts Seoul there is they actually use their speed boost to get back up that staircase to try and beat them to the staircase, right? Force them back underneath. But New York just baits it out. And Seoul's just a tad bit slow. And just that little space allows New York to push all the way through the choke and put them in a really bad position.
I mean, NYXL look like they are playing a different game so far. Couple steps ahead, or a speed boost perhaps. Jexa here is not going coast to coast in the Lucio, not looking for any sort of boots or setups. He's just trying to add some poke into the damage and get closer to that ultimate. Here's the drop down. Fletter lobs in. Not all that charged up at the moment.
No.
He doesn't want to commit too heavily until he's up at about 80.
Let's see if he can get charged.
Oh, might be a struggle here. He's still holding onto that barrier. He's giving it. Wow! Okay, he does get a bit from Fisher. Took a while. His Graviton is there. Both teams have them. Libero now giving armor to his teammates, and there's the Graviton for the NYXL. Oh! Charged out of the way. There was a very high self-destruct. Jackson was the only one who was taken down by that one. It was like he was actually playing on the high ground. But he goes down to it, even though Mano went to great lengths to make sure Fisher was out of the picture.
We've seen NYXL do better combos than that. I think Seoul's a little bit lucky that it wasn't a better combo than that. That could have been big, but...
The result is still the same, Matt. They lose the fight.
Self-destruct just a little bit too high. But Seoul Dynasty has their own combo coming back. Shatter, grab, and self-destruct. Just both support ultimates online here for New York. You always have to be careful, Mano, with his counter shatter. We saw the other day the shatter under the card as well.
You see where Neko's looking to try and eat up that one. Oh, Michelle not glow. That's going to force out the sound barrier. Jonak sees the grab there. He's going to duck in there voluntarily, of course. His team needs that healing. Meko's out of the picture. Mano moved away. And there we go. They managed to survive. It's a late shatter. Fisher stunned immediately, so we can't follow up. And then the Graviton surge. Oh, it's beautiful. What a response from NYXL. There's no bigger way to be on the back foot in a fight like that when three of your teammates are sat on their backsides. Lovely little shield bash from Libero to completely stop Fisher. And then the grab from Nene.
You know, it puts Seoul Dynasty on their back foot when Mano hits that shatter underneath the cart. And it's something, you know, if you watch a lot of main tanks like stream, they talk about like, I guess the cool word now is downloading other main tanks gameplay. And that's something I saw Mano do in their match the other day, like 3 or 4 times. The shatter from underneath the cart on the other side. Just those little things in the main tank position to study. As Jaehong used his Transcendence, they're going to get nothing out of this.
Meko was caught out there, to be honest, inside Seoul Dynasty while they had the Transcendence. He still gets out. These teams, in case you're wondering, they have swapped places. New York playing on Seoul's side of the map here. This might not suit Seoul. You see, Michelle's going to head up to the high ground. Self-destruct comes through. Munchkin's very low, so he just has to run away. This is going to split all of the Dynasty. And that's where NYXL want to make their mark, and they've done so. Fletter and Fisher are both down. There is no way that Seoul should be winning this fight right now. And I don't want to speak too soon because of what they did on Numbani. With Jonak being taken down by the self-destruct, Jaehong is missing in action. And Jexa, oh, this one's going to be toasty.
I don't think New York's going to push this in right away. You're going to have to wait a little bit. They back out to actually speed some of their other players back in the fight. You can't take this fight without Mano with the shatter coming up, and then you got the sound barrier here for Animo. As they're going to take high ground. As we see they do this a lot, try and get Nene in these high ground positions, lay down some crazy damage. Then as soon as they get one player weak, that's when they pounce.
And he's thinking about just that. Michelle's definitely looking at him with the beady eyes, like, come on, D, try and grab into my Matrix, bro. And then if he does it from around the corner, Michelle won't have a lot of time to react to it, so. Only have a couple of seconds in the voice line. No chance for that. Nene knocked down. There's still the NYXL want to commit to this fight. It's a sound barrier. Or do they? Nope. Okay. Animo uses that ult, but they are out of here.
And you can see how teams emphasize taking out that Zarya. They know Nene has some charge. They know he's got grab. As soon as they land the shatter, the Discord orb goes on him, and you see Michelle just fly in, just beeline, doesn't care. what happens as long as they secure that kill.
Animo throwing himself at the ground to try and get that sound barrier quick enough. It was just too slow. Discord Orb speeds up time to kill a lot, especially when 6 people are looking at the same play with Discord Orb on them. It hurts. So we go again. This time, Sans sound barrier. Gonna force the Seoul Dynasty to drop on them eventually. Again, they want to sort of provoke a reaction here. See if they can catch a couple players that are lingering behind or a couple seconds too late on the memo. Okay, Jonah, that was pretty aggressive positioning. In all fairness, Mecca might have tried to bait something out there, looking like he was going out for a self-destruct. But that's the transcendence from Jaehong now, and Fisher is just going forward. He's hungry for revenge and victory. And then, oh, there it is. That's going to be the Graviton Surge laid in. Sound barrier out, Munchkin charged out of the way, and now the counter grab. Here's that self-destruct. This one will hurt. Now, Michelle gets 2. And YXL stopped again. Seoul starting to find their feet here on this last stage.
And back against the wall, they seem to start coming up clutch in a lot of these situations. The next fight, though, is going to be crucial. No support ult. Jaehong maybe builds towards Transcendence. You'll end up with a sound barrier here. Self-destruct, Earth Shatter for New York. If they don't win this one, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
It will be in the dumps.
Jaehong rapidly going towards that Transcendence.
This time, New York want to take the high ground instead of forcing Seoul to drop down. Probably gives them a more commanding view of the situation. Flatter.
The high ground just gives them a lot of space, right?
Well, especially for Jonak or Nene just to beam down on them.
And they obviously can't get shattered, which they know is available.
Okay, so they initiate with a self-destruct. This will force position. They're hoping to catch Fisher or someone out. As a result, Flatter's gone down. Mano is so deep. He's in a bathysphere right now. He's so down far.
Still alive.
I know. Animo was traded out, though. Mano looking a little bit beleaguered at this point. He's going to have to force back away. Fisher gets meleeed. And now Michelle's in trouble. He gets caught out. He was 6 seconds left in the round. The NYXL starting to build up ahead of steam towards his last point. Dropping onto the point is Jaxer off to the left-hand side, and Flatter's looking low. Jonak trying to take care of him. He has a Transcendence ready to bring into the fight. And here's Fisher. He's going to drop the wrecking ball on the point here. Trying to make that difference. A lot of shielding. And yes, it's the solo Q strat. Ring around the rosy. But Manu's having none of it. Shuts him down. Michelle now steps up to the plate. And he won't be there for long either. D-suited. That's overtime done. Yes. Yes, I don't know what the nutritional content of the shirt's going to be. I don't know if it's going to feed you gains much, but I can understand the frustration from your perspective. Seoul, hold out well, Matt.
Close, just not enough. Towards the end, and it's actually wild how deep that Mono went there after they used the self-destruct. Just charges on in. Just beelines the Fleta, they take him out, and when you're looking at the top of your screen, he's not even going that low in terms of health. He's able to shatter, just shatters pretty much to save himself, just backs all the way up. It's wild. Just the teamwork and the coordination from New York.
The sequencing is so varied. There are so many ways that you can win a fight when self-destruct is sort of your win condition. In that case, it was just a forced positioning. Mano just charging in. Managing to find that first pick, a complete brawl ensues, but we talk about Mano being so passive and such a survivalist, but that's not to say that he often isn't the tip of the spear that YXL thrust.
That's funny, we talk about like, they do such a great job of supporting Jonak. He's so low in terms of deaths. Like, so is Mano, so are a lot of these guys. They're just a good team at like, just staying alive, and that's just because they win so many fights consistently, time and time again.
It might be quite some time before the Seoul Dynasty have another opportunity to challenge the NYXL. Another chance to try and gain some pride, establish some dominance. They can still make this series work, though. A victory here on Dorado will take us to map 5, and we all want that. Munchkin, spider senses a tinkling, doesn't find the pick. Seoul are on the road.
In terms of support tests, you only have 2 for Animo and 2 for Jonak. Jexay with 5 and then Jaehong with 4. So you see, double the amount of deaths for the supports. Like, well, your true kind of supports. This Brig kind of lives forever.
Yes.
Double the deaths.
Nigh on immortal.
She's close.
Every bit the paladin trope character that she was designed to be, for sure. Okay, so Seoul, they try and beat the rotation too. but it's a lot slower. They make a lot more noise, and New York are kind of ready for it.
And New York doesn't fall for it because they have Nene up on the high ground who's just scouting it out. And he can actually see that they just stop on the corner, and then he just calls for everybody else to come on back.
This is not a good sign as well, especially with the composition that both these teams are playing. It can kind of snowball in one direction or the other. With NYXL winning the fight so convincingly, they do a lot more damage, ergo, those ultimates are coming out much faster.
Yeah, now the card starts moving back towards that choke. A lot of nice places to use, you know, your Earth Shatters, your Graviton Surges.
You get so much value as Reinhardt playing in this choke, especially as Zarya that's bubbling Reinhardt.
And like, you know, it's not exactly ideal as you see the speed boost used here by Seoul.
Libero
trying to create some space.
Oh, lucky Brigitte.
Okay, so you see Michelle actually goes up to the high ground. They want to try and force Nene down from there.
All right, Seoul look very confused by this. They are forced to fight in the choke instead of rotating around. Yeah, they're going to get cut down rather quickly, and Nene... I get shivers looking at it. Interesting setup there as well. It's quite possible. We saw Meko go into the bridge. But again, when you fly on such a flat trajectory as a diva, we've sort of talked about it a couple of times, it can look like you've already jettisoned your mech and you're self-destructing. It's not always easy to hear the voice line. So he might have been trying to force some like mispositioning by feigning self-destruct.
I tell you what, the 2 minutes on the clock is a little bit misleading, right? No. This is gonna get ugly pretty quick for Seoul if they don't take this soon. This is such a difficult point to take as now they've gone up to the top. Guess what? New York meeting them right there.
Oh, Fish is knocked off. Shatter here laid down. It connects with two. Flutter and Michelle were knocked on their rear ends. Very quickly though, Seoul recovered. The speed boost from Jexo allowing them to get their key pieces back in position, but New York did the same thing. Couple steps back to the statue. Now they bring Fisher in. They've sucked him in. Jaehong with a Transcendence. It won't save them though. The sound barrier, however, does do a good job of that. Jonak now, known for holding those Transcendences till late in the fight, opts to use his. And we have a reset here. No one dead on either team, but here's the Graviton Surge. Now, guess what? Sound barrier. It's all academic at this point, ladies and gents. Fisher. I wanted to go forward, but he's chunked out the half, and New York is so good at repelling these jabs.
And that's why I said this 2 minutes is a little bit scary, because look, Mono's got another Shatter, Libero's gonna have Rally, so you expect maybe a little bit of offense here from New York. And just like that, Nene's already up to 60% in terms of scrap.
Oh my lord, Mono's so aggressive. He and Libero are both knocked out. Fisher actually get to use that aggression of the New York Excelsior against them now. AC Meka fakes his little bit of argy-bargy as well. He jumps into the backside, but then he's burst out. Fisher gets there. Jaehong has a Transcendent. Now it's looking very good for Seoul in this fight to push on. Libero is discorded, trying to keep this one stalled out for as long as he possibly can. Try and levy a high toll for Seoul to advance, but I think the Dynasty have had enough of this shenanigans, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if New York invests into this.
Transcendent,
two kills for Mono. Transcendence, now they're going to come out on the card. Nene's coming back from spawn with Grab. We only got 13 seconds left.
Nene's arrived. He has that Graviton. He lets it go. Jaehong doesn't have the Transcendence anymore. Fletter's in trouble. He gets melted down. Sound barrier was at least used for the Seoul Dynasty, but they're down to 2 players, and Fisher was discorded, and he's dead. Jackson now just trying to hang out on top of the statue, but it is a complete and total capitulation for the Seoul Dynasty. New York know how to win a fight from behind, and once again, the Dynasty failed to dethrone the NYXL.
Such a close series, though. Towards the end of the game, I'm looking up on the stage, and Jaehong's just got his hands on his head, like, how many of these close fights are we going to play so well to get an advantage, and just, they end up losing them all at the end. And you don't want to say, it's not really Seoul blowing those fights, it's just New York playing so well. You know, they use the Transcendence at the perfect time, every single time. You keep Mono up, they come back with the Grav. Wild series.
We just witnessed a masterclass, and we didn't have to pay 9 easy payments of $99.99 to view it. New York, a couple moments of weakness there, but my God, they're very fleeting. Scant opportunities for their opponents to take advantage of them now. And NYXL now stand at 6-0. They are confirmed for the Stage 1 playoffs, and it wouldn't be the playoffs without a team of this caliber in there, Matt. There are a few words I can use to describe NYXL that I haven't already done. I cannot wait to see them take on other Titan teams in this league, no pun intended. Let's now head down to the floor with Danny and a very special guest to break this one down.
Thank you guys very, very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Jonah from NYXL. Give it up. Make some noise. What a great match. Now, everyone knows that NYXL and Seoul Dynasty have this, bit of a rivalry going on since last season. And you and Jae-hong, actually, you guys have a mutual respect for each other. Do you have anything you want to say to Jae-hong? 자, 서울 다이너스티와 뉴욕이 아무래도 저번 시즌부터 지금까지 굉장히 좀 접전인 경기들이 많았던 것 같아요. 거기다 또 재홍 선수와 쪼한 선수의 좀 특별한 관계이기 때문에 오늘 우승자인 쪼한 선수, 재홍 선수에게 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
재홍이 형, 나 절대 못 이기게 해줄게.
Jae-hong, I will make sure you will never win against me. Nice. And everyone, be excited. With today's win, NYXL is the first team to have is going to move on to the stage playoffs. So New York, congratulations. You guys will be going into the stage playoffs. Any message for the other teams that are looking to go into the stage playoffs with you guys? 자, 이제 오늘의 승리로 뉴욕 팀이 첫 번째 팀으로 스테이지 플레이오프에 들어가게 됐는데 이제 다음에 또 들어오게 될 다른 팀들에게 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
어떤 팀이든 털어버리겠습니다.
Doesn't matter which team it is, we will beat you guys. Ooh, spicy, a lot of spice. Now, I have one more question. Vancouver Titans actually said that they will not lose a match until they go into the stage playoffs. Jonak, do you think NYXL is a team that will beat Vancouver Titans? 자, 밴쿠버 타이탄스 팀이 이런 말씀해 주셨어요. 스테이지 플레이오프 가기 전까지 절대 지지 않겠다. 만약에 스테이지 플레이오프에 가서 만나게 된다면 이길 거라고 확신하십니까?
무조건 이길 겁니다.
We will definitely win. A lot of spice today. Thank you, Jonak. Everyone make some noise for Jonak. That's all I have. Let's send it back to our casters, Uber and Mr. X. Take it away.
Oh, I love it, bro.
That's so spicy. Yo, Jae-hong, you'll never beat me. Hello. Love to see that. There's NYXL at the top 6 wins, 0 losses, and a plus 12 map differential. Pretty much unassailable at this stage in stage 1. And they have, of course, clinched that playoff spot. Look at those teams, though, Matt. It is going to be a sick playoff so far, but let us reminisce happily about that match. It was so much fun to cast. Definitely must have been a joy to see. We just got to see some fantastic Overwatch, not only from New York, but from Seoul at quite a few key moments as well.
And obviously, it's a great win for New York. They clinch their stage playoff berth, but that is a really tough loss for Seoul because it's really like a lot of their stage 1 kind of determined on this match, right? It's a big one, and they're like so close to winning a lot of these fights that would have decided the game. And you steal another map like Nabani, like Valskaya is very close. Like it's really
finishing
close.
touches, Matt. They're just not quite there for this team, and NYXL have just been such a cohesive unit for so long, so it's no surprise. Let's have a look at who our player of the match by HP Omen was. I think this one's pretty easy. Nene, we got to see his Tracer. So sick, by the way.
I love Saviobi, one of my favorite players.
Where are you going?
Started watching Overwatch. And I'm like, man, I'd love to see him in the lineup. Nene keeps playing like this.
That ain't.
I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, I feel like last year, when we were just like every match, like Jonak player match, like this one's so hard to even like argue. I mean, every single match he's finishing like #1 in damage, like the least amount of deaths. Like it's just wild what he's able to do.
It makes you wonder how
70 high energy.
Makes you wonder how anyone in North American contenders was able to stand out when Nene was playing for New York Excelsior's academy team last year. This guy is a monster. Burst onto the scene here in the Overwatch League and has been such a key addition to his team. His eye is already top of the league after 2 weeks. It's probably going to stay that way for a while. Incredible.
It's wild to think that you look back at the off season and you're like, well, out of the teams from season 1, who was like the biggest addition to a lot of these rosters like coming in? You're like, oh man, Boar's going to make a big impact. Decay for the LA Gladiators. It's like the best team almost added like the best piece out of all the teams from season 1 as New York adds Nene, and you look at all the other Zarya's in the league, man, he's at the top.
Oh man, we have seen some fantastic Overwatch today, and we know there's still a couple weeks left in the stage. More fantastic action to come next week, but before that, the Watchpoint post show is coming out just to break down all the spiciest moments of today's matches. Enjoy that one from myself, Mitch Leslie, and Matthew Morello. We'll see you next week.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.